on the broadcasting scene. Let me just pull up my little paper here. I think I mentioned earlier that the print version of, let me just put these in. The print version of the Science of Mind magazine is delayed in being sent out to people. However, you can go to, if you just Google Science of Mind magazine, it will take you to scienceofmind, either .com or .org, one or the other. And you can actually download a printed version of these daily guides. And it will take you through the end of February, maybe even through the end of March. I'm not sure, because now, as you know, we have double editions. So here we go. I'm in a little bit of a time squeeze here because I have to leave in the very near future. Actually, not like this. I got to go and get changed. I've got to go to a business meeting at our local Chamber of Commerce. So here we go. This I need, dropping judgment. I don't know many people who don't need this, dropping judgment. When we let go of judgment, we free ourselves to enjoy a peace that surpasses anything that the world has to offer. And that was Alan Cohen in A Deep Breath of Life, and it was the entry for May 8th. And Ernest Holmes, a little bit more convoluted, says, limitation is an experience of the human race, but it's not the fault of God, it's the fault of our perception. And that was from Creative Mind and Success, page 48, paragraph 6. Why would she quote that? Well, judgment is a limitation. It means we're limiting ourselves to a certain view instead of opening ourselves up to many possibilities. Once we start to pass judgment, we are immediately limiting ourselves and limiting our experience. And this is from Reverend Joanne. She says, I volunteer at an historic rose garden in Saratoga Springs, New York. And one spring day, a small creature weighing less than a gram delivered a huge spiritual lesson for me. I was weeding close to the rose garden's barberry hedge. At best, I viewed the barberry as a utilitarian nuisance to frame their rosebed. At worst, when its thorns punctured my skin, I saw the plant as an enemy. This day, I heard a bumblebee buzzing around the hedge. What on earth was it doing there? Because there was nothing but greenery. I paused to investigate. I watched the insect alight on one tiny, pale yellow flower after another, doing its little dance of collecting pollen and nectar from the bud's stamen. Nestled in the greenery, the flowers were almost invisible. Up until that day, I didn't even know that the barberry had these flowers that offered some mid-spring nourishment for the bees before the roses started blooming. Observing this tiny bumblebee caused me to ask myself what else I was missing due to my quick judgment and limited perception. The experience pointed me to something lovely that always had been there. Had I not been so quick to judge, and had I bothered to pay attention to the beauty around me, the bumblebee reminded me to consciously look for the good and the beautiful that Spirit provides in abundance. Well, oftentimes our judgment isn't limited to just not seeing the beautiful flowers amongst the green. It's often limited to judging other people. You know, I've mentioned before, when I'm at the gym, you know, one of my friends, he's been actually an exercise freak all his life. And when I met him in Holland, he was an exercise freak, but I didn't work out with him then. I didn't start working out with him until we actually got to the woodlands. And then he and his wife and my wife and I started working out together. He persuaded me to start again. I'd had a break in my working out career, although most of my life I've worked out a lot, but I had a break. And then he actually taught me how to use the machines properly. You know, there are machines that you can use instead of the physical loose weights. You can actually use machines, as I'm sure most of you know. And he taught me how to use them properly. For instance, there's a machine that you can grab with your hands. There's weights down here and you pull down on it. And the idea is you're exercising your arms, correct? But what a lot of people do is they lean forward and then they lean back and they're using their body weight instead of just their arms. Yes, they can lift more weight, but they're not really doing the exercise the machine was designed for, which is to exercise your arms and not use your body weights as a lever to pull back. Because I got taught properly, and there's many machines with you could make a similar observation to, it's very easy for me to criticize somebody who's doing it improperly, and they're probably lifting a third more weight than I am, but the bottom line is they're using their body weight to do it, and they're not using their arms or their legs, whichever instrument they happen to be on, machine they happen to be on at the time. But I notice if I start looking and criticize, I know that people do, they discuss it. I'm missing what's going on around me besides that, because there's a lot of people using it properly. There's people who've got great shapes down there. And I may be missing a really good conversation. So that's one example where when you judge, your focus, you confine your focus to something, and then you miss whatever else is going on around. And that's basically what she was saying here. But the other point is that when we judge other people, it doesn't do us any good at all. It really doesn't. If somebody doesn't know how to use a machine properly, I should do one of two things. I should either go and try and explain to them how to use it properly, or just forget about it and get on with what I'm doing, which is what I try to do. So it's going to become a spiritual exercise for me to ignore what they're doing, just say, oh, they're on a machine, and that's the end of the story, and concentrate on what I'm doing, because when I'm judging them, I am forgetting to concentrate on what I'm doing exactly, whatever it happens to be. But also, there's an old thing I learned, and I'm sure some of you say it's when you point a finger at somebody, when you point a finger at someone, guess what happens? These three fingers are pointing back at you. So people who are really self-confident and self-assured don't need to judge other people because they're secure in their own skin. How do they get secure in their own skin? By either they're lucky and they grew up that way, or they were taught that way, or through spiritual exercises, they've learned that you just let other people do their own thing. If they get in trouble, yes, help them out. If they need a listening ear, be the listening ear. But just let them be themselves. And you concentrate on growing. And then you find more joy in the world. Let's face it, the people who are at the gym are going down there attempting to stay fit and keep fit, which is a great thing in itself. So somebody sometime will show them how to use the machine properly. And that's really all I've got to say. The affirmation was a really long one, so I've cut it down. I release any judgments or preconceived notions. I release any judgments or preconceived notions. I think that's enough for an affirmation. As you know, with me, I like affirmations to be short, to the point. Why? Because A, you'll remember them, and B, you'll probably use them if they're short. So that's really all I got to offer for today. So remember, Reverend Lisa will be on tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Posted there, I put the information for today's readings. I've also put contact information. If you want our email, which tells you all about Creative Life, what's going on, just info@creativelife.org will give you that email. Nobody will spam you. Nobody will know your email address except Constant Contact, and they won't give it to anybody. And if you need to text me, text me. I listen to another minister when I'm at the gym, and she gives her email address. I won't give it because I probably need her permission to do that. But she always says, hey, this is my email address. Let me know what's going on in your life. Text me. Let me know what's going on in your life, what you like about these readings, what else you would like when you like something different. So until next time, remember to take care of yourselves. Self-care is incredibly important. As I said, Reverend Weiss will be on tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page. I understand Facebook was down for a lot of people today. It did not go down for me. I don't know why. So until next time, namaste. All the best. See you then. Bye.